And that's
Hola.
another day, another podcast. We're 400 something podcast. Wow, international. I'm in New York, Saeed's in London, Abbas is in New York, and Sherif
We're
is
both
in
in
Canada.
You guys are both
Yeah,
in New York?
exactly. Yeah,
Oh,
but I'm far away.
wow.
I'm closer to Canada. Anyways, what a great day. Everything's changed, honestly. Saeed's hair is blonde.
I did a
That's
global
everything.
reset. That's the global
Everything's
reset.
changed.
And yeah, I guess we were talking about the great
Dyeing your
reset,
hair blonde,
money
that's
and
what we're
debt,
talking
and all that stuff like that. Yeah, exactly. And why is it great to live in a first world country, or is it better to live in a third world country? What do you think, Sharif?
Obviously, being in a first world country is safer, less political turmoil, less like terrorism, less
Is
political
it?
instability. Obviously, a lot of these
wait,
countries.
wait a minute. Wait a minute. Is it really? Because like look at the US and then look at Lebanon, and let's use one criminal action that includes terrorists, which is school shootings, or like in general, there's like random shootings that happen. How
That's
many occur in
true.
Lebanon per year?
That's
'Cause
actually very true.
I have
That's a
not
good
heard
point.
I have not heard
Yeah,
of one. And in the US it's increasing every year constantly.
that's
And
a
also
good point. Yeah,
and also terrorist attacks in general usually occur in the US because
Mhm.
yeah, no,
you
that's a good
know
point. What I meant
multi
is they're generally safer. It's still generally safer. Like other than the like school shooting thing, which America has a systemic gun problem, gun rights problem, but other than that, it's still. I feel like it's still safer than living in Pakistan. Like the day-to-day life there is probably still safer than somewhere like Pakistan or Azerbaijan or Afghanistan. Definitely, like those countries, they have a lot of like those
Islamic
militias and
countries.
like those
Yeah.
kidnappings and those groups of those factions that like control the government in a way, and they get away with all kinds of like inhuman acts like ISIS and
Mhm.
stuff. And the Middle East as well is very in so much turmoil because of that political, social turmoil because of the fear engendered by these political groups, in those countries. So yeah, it's safer, better healthcare, definitely. Um, you know, those are mainly the main things, I guess. Free access to education in most
Mhm.
places. At least a high school education is more expensive where we come from, at least before university. Um, yeah, but the main issue I think is like the cost of living is
Mm.
getting increasingly high. It's
Where is
really
this? But where is this not the case? That's the question. It's like I feel like if you were, give me an alternative, man. Give me a better country that you don't have to have all these issues, because every country has its issues, man. You're gonna go to Africa, there's corruption. You're gonna go to Asia, there's
there
dictatorships.
is
You're
always
gonna go.
political corruption, but there's a
Maybe
point where
Europe's
it's
the one place that I feel like could be peaceful to
yeah,
live in.
yeah. Europe does it really well, I think. I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like corruption happens everywhere, but in some places it has a significant effect on the well-being of the population, and other places no.
By the way, I
So
would disagree about Europe because like when you say Europe it involves a lot of countries, then a lot of and
that's true. I would say
there's a
Said you're
Western Europe.
European.
there's a bunch of countries that are in Europe that do not qualify under the descriptions that you guys are providing, you know. Uh,
I would say like Western Europe, and then some parts of Nordic Europe.
Nordic Europe is probably probably better options. Like for example, Sweden,
Finland, Sweden, yeah,
maybe even Norway, but
Mhm.
yeah, land of Thor and the gods.
It's funny because even in Holland and Netherlands, they're having protests right now because of the whole economic thing that's happening.
Yeah,
With,
Western
yeah.
Europe.
The gas.
By the way, Western Europe is getting hit badly for economic wise. I mean, also the UK is not doing so well itself. Like living costs are increasing like crazy. I mean, not only living costs, it's also like food, general supplies that you need, daily supplies. Um, the bills are just have been. I don't know how much they want. I think they've increased by like at least 40%.
Saeed, if I may ask, do you have a job right now?
Yeah.
What's the how much what do you do and what's the pay, if you don't mind me asking?
Like why are we discussing this on the podcast?
No, because
What's the minimum wage?
cost
Yeah,
of
what's
living versus salaries, wages.
You could ask that question in a different way, my friend.
yeah, what's the minimum wage?
The minimum wage is like 8.9 pounds.
Which
I
is
get
how
paid
many dollars?
I get paid more than that. but not by
Akil,
much.
That's really low. That's lower than America because
no, wait, how much is
Pounds.
9
yeah.
pounds?
Oh, how much
Pounds.
is a pound for a
So
dollar?
so like 10 pound. So like 10 pounds maybe is, I don't know, maybe $15, maybe a bit less.
Mm-hmm. I see.
Like
$15?
rough.
That's as much as the US, no? How much
Yeah,
is the wage
yeah,
in the
pretty
US?
much. Yeah,
How much
around
is
that
it in
area,
the US?
13, 14 something
13.
Yeah,
dollars.
it's
Yeah.
the same thing. Same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Which is both really shit. honestly.
Actually, no, wait. Minimum wage عندنا is less because minimum wage is 8.9, not 10.
So
Okay.
let's say it's nine pounds an hour. Is that only in London or is it across the UK?
I guess I'm assuming it's across the UK.
Okay,
I
and how
haven't I
much is
haven't
that in
really
the
checked.
US?
I haven't really checked. In the US, it depends on each state come in, right?
No, that's federal, bro. شو أكيد لا.
Is it a federal law?
Oh no, wait, no, it's not. Yeah,
It's
holy shit. So how
Abbas
much
Ali.
is nine
Can you
pounds in
confirm?
dollars?
No, I think each state has its own minimum wage.
No, each state has its own. Yeah.
Because bro, the
You can't
wages
make
in
it
New
federal
York
because each
are
state
so
has its
high.
own expenses.
Yeah,
Like-
wages
That's
in
true,
New
yeah.
York and California maybe are higher than Michigan
Yeah.
and Texas. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Some
Like
states are
the
cheaper
state
to
of
live in.
Vancouver, the state of Vancouver, it's like 13.65 US dollars per hour.
Okay.
13.65.
That's and like how do you live off that? It's the question, right? So if you're making minimum wage and you're just paying all all your money goes into
You
the
can't
bills and
afford
stuff
an
like that.
apartment. You cannot afford an apartment like your own accommodation on minimum wage. You either pay like, I mean, you can. It's just that you won't have any savings at all at the end of the month. Like if you're gonna have, and if you want to live in anywhere in Greater Vancouver,
Yeah.
not even the city of Vancouver, just the greater cities around, which I'm in. You're gonna have to, if you're making minimum wage and you're working 40 hours a week,
Mm-hmm.
you can afford it. It's just that like afford anything else. You can afford
Versus
food.
like it's crazy that our families were, our parents and stuff, they were like, yeah, we bought a house at 26, we saved enough money to buy a house and stuff like that and start
The
a
most
family.
shocking story for me is at the restaurant I worked at before. There was this old man. He's a friend of the restaurant's owner. He helped a lot with the owner restaurant starting up. He bought two houses by 23 years old. 23.
Wow.
He's now 70. He bought two houses at 23, working as a full-time barber. He was a barber. That's it. He worked that 7 years, bought two houses. Nice houses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Which
just
is-
the way they used to make money before is not the same way that you make money now, and it's
No, I don't. I
it's
wouldn't
becoming
say. I
clear.
wouldn't say it's the money problem, bro. I think, and so if you look at the graph in Vancouver, the graph of the increase in cost of living is like this, while the graph of the cost, like the salaries and pays and wages, is more like this. You know, the wages increased by 30% over the last 20 years, 30
Mhm.
years. Cost of living, especially housing costs, increased by like fucking 3 million%.
Meanwhile, this Twitch streamer is making millions of dollars while playing video games online.
Yeah. Me and my dad were discussing like a new business. Like we want to open up a new business. Bro, we can't think of anything. Like the things that used to work 15 years ago for my dad doesn't work anymore, you know?
What type of stuff worked for your dad 15 years ago?
Bro, my dad used to like he had a deli, for example. Just a deli, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, bro. Yeah, he made like money off that. He had a shop with he just sold shirts and hats, like just that. Bro, that you're talking about 25 years ago in like Manhattan. Like, bro, he made like, he made a decent living off that. Now, imagine you're selling shirts and hats or even have a deli. Like, you
I
just
think
can't do
delis
that
are going
anymore.
out of business because of stuff like 7-Eleven and Uber Eats. And here you can order groceries on your phone in Canada. I'm sure in New York and America it's the same.
100%, yeah.
About shirts and hats, I think that's still very feasible if he has like a good line of stuff that people like, you know?
Bro, no, it's not the same, bro. Back then, like they used to sell like really like just simple t-shirts, and you could sell that. Now, bro, there's so much competition. You have to make a website online. You can't get a shop right now. Like if
Oh
you want
yeah,
to
yeah.
go
You
into
definitely
clothes,
need like a
you need like
like
an
an
online
online
store.
social
And
media, yeah.
yeah, you
You
can't
need your
compete.
dad to follow Facebook comments all day.
Yeah, my dad, because he knows about Facebook.
It's such a weird
Exactly.
world, man. I feel like bad for the older people, right? Who have
No,
to
it's
do this all
okay.
over again.
Abbas, just tell your dad it's natural selection. Baba, you're being phased out. We're replacing you. It's just evolution. The old
I
and the
mean,
obsolete
it is
is
true,
dying out.
bro. It is true. Like, I mean, my dad still he still wants to work, and technically he could retire, but he just wants to work, you know.
Mhm.
I mean, I
Bro,
can't
imagine
argue
all
with
his
him on
life.
that mindset. Like, you can't even at a certain even when you reach at an age where you could. Bro, your dad's been working since he's been very young, and it's basically been built into his head that he needs it. Like it's something that I guess keeps him moving. And he's that type of guy. He has a high work ethic and he constantly wants to work. To be honest, I think your dad's a bit of a workaholic,
He
but
is for sure, yeah.
like it's not necessarily a bad thing if you can control it, obviously. But it's good that he still has the energy, man, because like it means he hasn't just like given up. I'm just like, خلاص, I'm done, but I don't want to put any effort. I don't want to work anymore. It's nice to see that even at his age, he can still put in the effort to think of like new things, new projects to try out, or like new businesses ideas that he wants to create or make.
Yeah, I think what
that's pretty
Saeed's saying
cool.
is very on point. He's worked all his life. Like for him, like his sense of meaning or purpose is tied to his work, which is an amazing, admirable thing. All throughout history, you can see that, bro. Even right now, the biggest indicator for happiness and joy in old age for millionaires and billionaires is not how much money they have and their quality of life. It's actually how much quality work they're putting out and their family. It's those two things. Like how much, like you can see billionaires still working, bro. Why is Elon Musk not retired? The guy he could have retired, and his entire like lineage can retire for the next 3 million years. But the reason
That's
he
not
is
why he
doing
made it. Yeah, he didn't make it that far because he made it that far because he's a
he
hustler,
wasn't
right?
looking
Exactly.
to retire, bro. Yeah, he was looking to innovate, to break the boundaries of human like evolution and progress. He wanted to be on the forefront of breaking the frontier of space and like every known industry in technology and aerospace. And the guy, when you have a goal large enough for you, you can look past your obstacles and old age and what I don't know what, because you have something much bigger in sight that you're aiming for.
Right. But it was also like a good smart goal too. Like if he wanted to just make a regular car manufacturing plant, he would have lost. Only reason it's working is because he's doing the electric thing and people are trying to save the environment, so they're buying his cars.
Exactly.
And so exactly. So it's a goal. It's just
It's affordable. And
it's
it's
not
good
about
for the
how hard you
environment.
work, it's about how smart you're working, or it's about like knowing where all the money is right now. And I think it's just coming in less and less and less places, and you have to be like super smart and super smart at a computer and stuff like that nowadays in order to make money.
I agree.
All the money is going in the gaming industry, man. What am I gonna say? We should all work
No,
in the
man, it's
gaming
not only the gaming industry. There's so
and
many different
podcasts.
industries that are
I'm
growing
happy is happy.
nowadays that you can like invest in. I mean, look at for example Beyond Meat. It's actually it's actually
Right.
last time I checked the stocks, they were actually going upwards, man. Apparently
Mhm.
apparently
invest.
people are converting to vegans and vegetarians. I mean, Ali, you switched to
Yeah.
veganism, right? Vegan
Yeah.
or vegetarian?
Vegetarian. But yeah, life's
Vegetarian.
great, man.
Yeah, and you had what's it called?
Beyond Meat, Sfiha.
Beyond Meat tasfiha, bro. What?
But you
I
made that
mean,
at home, bro. You
Yeah, I
made
made
that
it
at
at home.
home.
I should listen.
Imagine,
If your dad were to open a restaurant that's all like Beyond Meat,
Abbas. See,
Lebanese
there's an idea.
food.
There's an idea.
I've been thinking about this. If you do like Beyond Meat kafta, my brother makes Beyond Meat kafta, Beyond Meat sfiha,
But that's fucking weird, man. Should be on me kafta, man.
shawarma,
Where do you start?
No, it's
Where do
just
you
like
shawarma.
start?
alternative. It's alternative.
imagine you told someone in like those old people who actually do the
Yeah.
actual meat. Hey, oh, this is Beyond Meat. What is this? What is this?
But seriously, like, man, your dad should consider like a Mediterranean cuisine restaurant with
Bro, there's too many, bro. There's too many in New
But
York.
are there any Beyond ones?
Beyond Meat, man.
Bro, what Mediterranean store has Beyond Meat only?
Bro, just
Actually,
literally
Abbas, no, there
everything
isn't a
meat
Abbas.
that switch it.
Abbas, there isn't a lot of Lebanese places in New York City, bro. I remember, like, we had to look for, like, there's
Bro.
only 3 that popped up when we went to
No. Okay, yeah, that's true. But then you have to see in New York City, bro. You're talking about New York City, the rent is like 10,000 a month, bro. 15,000. No, we're talking about like suburbs, like Queens, like somewhere here, you know.
That's a good
Yes,
point. Yeah, it's a good
the
point.
Arab
Yeah.
invade the suburbs over there. Yeah. So you're
Bro,
gonna
Now,
find a
yeah,
lot of
exactly.
Russians
Now with the
there.
suburbs.
guys, one of the most surprising things about New York, honestly, was the monopoly Egyptians have over hot dog stands in downtown New York. Like the entire city, bro. The only culture you're gonna see at a stand in New York City for hot dogs is Masri, Egyptian.
Sherif,
Hardcore,
I have to question this supposed fact that you're sharing
bro.
with us.
I
Like,
swear,
have you been
every
around
single
all
one,
of New York City now and just like gone to
bro.
every
I went all over the city in the 3-4 days I was there. Every hot dog stand كان بيحكيني مصري.
question, Abbas? Is that possible to go go around
Okay.
like all of
I
those?
think they're all Arab. I don't know if they're Egyptian only. Like I know like all the food trucks, they're all halal food trucks. Almost all
They're
of them.
Arab, bro. The
They're
ones I
all
talked to,
Arab.
at least like fucking 20 of them, bro. There's so many everywhere, especially Times Square. Masris, all of them.
Wait,
Yeah.
you spoken to 20?
No, but I was saying hi to them. I was passing by.
Yeah,
Because they're Masri.
I'm trying to confirm your statistic sample.
Because they're
No, bro,
Arabs.
Saeed,
I
I
was
think
saying like
I think a lot of
I was
them.
hearing the Quran, bro. I was hearing the Arabic music. I was like,
Bro, you can't say they're all Egyptians if the Quran is being played. Do you know how many
no, but
Muslims
I
are
would say
there?
hi to them. I would say hi to them, and they would look Egyptian, and they'd respond. انا بقالي في الشارع
Bro,
ده 20 سنه بيقول لي هيك like شو اسمه I forgot what his name
I've
was.
been working there for 20 years. Translation.
والله
Yeah,
برو
exactly.
انا بقالي في الشارع ده 20 سنه.
I've known this street for 20 years.
Yeah. I mean,
Abbas,
obviously, if it's a
why are you
Cuban
translating,
truck,
bro? They can
they're
understand.
probably
Oh, okay, for the
Cuban.
podcast. Never mind. I thought he's translating for Saeed. I'm like, is Saeed that far gone? With his
bro,
black hair?
I probably speak better Arabic than all three of you. So
Of course, no doubt. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah,
Man,
but
so
yeah.
how are we trying to make money
So-
nowadays?
so all
How
of
are
the hot dog vendors are
well,
Egyptian.
my dad actually said this to me. He's like, your generation, it's super hard to do stuff like as a
Yeah.
business, as
That's very
like
true.
opening a new idea or a new store.
Bro,
You
basic
really have
living
to be
things,
smart or
bro.
like,
Basic living things
educated.
like buying a house is impossible. Like,
Bro, it's impossible, man.
Because a house
especially
used to
like Google.
cost $16,000. Now it costs $500,000. This is
What are you
why.
talking about? A
Before,
house?
it used to cost like 60 years ago. Like you could save up on your savings. You could buy a house, share it with someone, split it, boom, you
Ali,
could buy it on savings.
it's not about the cost
Now
of
it's
the
a
house.
whole different. Now it's a whole different paradigm. You can't just save and buy a house.
Ali, it's not about the cost of the house. Sherif was mentioning this earlier when he was talking about the housing costs increasing like this and then the wages going like this. It's the it's okay if like cost of living is increasing if the wages are also increasing parallel
Yes.
wise. But if they're not, then yeah, there obviously is going to be a massive gap between how much you're earning and how much you have to end up spending.
But the thing is, though,
That's why there's a lot of people I think I've been noticing are going from middle class down to lower class because with the current like economic climate how it's changing, I think they're just like with the inflation as well, a lot of people are just gonna be
I
start
don't know what
losing
people do, man.
jobs and
I don't know how people do it, man. Especially like older people with
bro,
families. I'm
I
like,
keep hearing about people losing their jobs nowadays here in
Mhm.
the UK. Like jobs are getting scarcer.
what do
People are
people do?
getting
Yeah.
maybe, I guess maybe that's why a lot of people are starting to come up with their own businesses and try to create something by themselves. But like you have to be careful with that because you can basically
Risky.
put yourself into debt, and
Mhm.
if you fuck it up,
The way I see it, there's only like two kind of ways to make money. Is one like becoming a doctor, like Abbas, or like just getting degrees and stuff like that. If like if when I get my master's, in psychology, I'll be able to earn a lot more than I am earning now, and stuff like that. And then the other one is to be like a wild internet entrepreneur and stuff like that. And
yes.
those are the only two ways I see you can make money in today's society. And I think it's very limited because not like it just means the bar is very high. You have to be like a really smart person in order to do that. And if you're not, then I don't know what you're gonna do.
I don't think it has to do with being with specializing necessarily, because I feel specializing can make you redundant in the future. Because you guys are talking about two fields that are heavily, like there's a massive amount of people in those fields, psychology and medicine. There's a lot of people going through those fields because they think they're safe jobs, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna get a good job in those fields because there's so much competition. Very simple. I think being flexible with your skill set, having multiple skills available to you, and you like in general, what the things that you know, your general knowledge and the skills that you have, the skills that you can apply as well, and your adaptive learning capability. I think those are like great skills to have if you want to find a job, because then you can just like learn the work faster than anyone else. Plus, you'll have
Bro, that's why
extra skills
Google.
that most other candidates don't have.
That's why Silicon Valley, bro, Google, Facebook, these places, they hire people a lot without degrees. No experience required, no degree.
That's not
I
true.
don't think Google. I think Elon does that.
Yeah, that's not
No,
true.
Google has a lot of recruiting for people that aren't
Yeah,
like
but they're probably
necessarily.
recruiting people for like simple jobs, bro. Like if you want to have like a, I don't know, digital producing job like in Google or any of
Yeah,
those
like of
like
course they need some basic skills, but like it's actually still quite open still to like minimum experience, no certification,
There's,
just
I think
having.
there's a certain requirement or like certain degree of, you know, maybe curiosity or like intelligence
Yeah,
that they can either test or like they notice in the candidate, because like they're not gonna take anyone who's just like has no education, no experience.
no, أكيد
They're,
أكيد لا they
they
also they
wanna
do
they're gonna pick
prioritize the
someone
skills.
they're gonna pick someone who has like, you know, certain like a high level of curiosity, high work ethic.
Exactly.
They want to learn,
مش بس that,
because then
like
they can,
adapt.
because if someone, if they really want to learn, then you give them anything and they will find a way to learn it and then apply it. And that's why that's why some major companies like that, like Google and Tesla and whatever other firms, are willing to take that risk on these people because they're capable to afford it. They're able to afford it.
That's true. That's a good
yeah,
point.
but I'm sorry, I want to say something that those people are the minority, bro. Most people
Yeah,
in the
of course.
company need like MIT graduates, Harvard graduates, like
Yeah, but
like you need to be
it's still refreshing though. Like about what Saeed was saying about like they nowadays like you need to have like adaptability, a learning
It
mentality.
is. I agree with Saeed, but in specifically those big companies, Google and Apple, and
Because they
I
can
think they
afford it.
bullshit. I think they bullshit the general population on, oh, we accept all kinds of people, but no, like when you actually want to go find a job there, they want like, I mean, you could be lucky maybe and be one of those people who actually get accepted, but most, like 9 times out of 10, I think need to be competitive.
Not necessarily. I think you can show like, okay, I'll give you a personal example. For me, bro, I graduated from AUB with like 76. So that's like what, a C plus, B minus maybe, if I'm lucky.
Yeah, maybe.
I got into SOAS not because of my grades. SOAS is it's a university in the UK. It's a smaller university, but the thing is, it's ranked, so it's first in developmental studies in the world, and it's top 15 in the world in my degree. And the degree I applied in, bro, like the people that I meet in my degree, I'm like, what the fuck am I doing here? You know, because like you have people on like these Chevening scholarships that have like, they're, first of all, they're way older than me as well. I have so many people that like are in their 30s doing this masters, and they have so much different experience, have so much work experience. I'm like, okay, I think I got in through because I'm an Arab. I was like quota filling or some shit.
Representation. Eh?
Yeah, but at the same time, I think they took me in not mainly focusing on my grades, but also like on the things that I did as extracurricular. Obviously, when I say extracurricular, it's not like, oh, PE and that kind of shit. Oh, I played football. I played football when when I was a
Play
kid.
dodgeball. Yeah,
No,
exactly.
man.
No,
Yeah,
Red
but like,
Cross.
yeah, exactly. I was in Red Cross for 6 years. I had different positions in Red Cross. I did internships with I forgot what's the name. It's like some sort of very popular newspaper shit in Lebanon. So I showed that I am capable of working in different aspects of this field. Like I am flexible. I'm capable of learning, and I'm willing to put in different, like a certain work ethic. And I'm guessing that's why they accepted me. Yeah, like just you won't, like, there are people who will get accepted if they show that they are different, you know? And this is what I pride myself on, which is being different. I like being different. It makes me maybe more like it makes people maybe want to hire me more likely.
No, I definitely agree to that point. You have to be
Because
unique
you
because
offer something to the table that's different.
right, exactly. Man, it's still, so like, what's the solution to this? It's like everyone's broke. And being broke makes you depressed and anxious and angry. And so now what? I don't want to be anxious and angry and depressed my whole life. So I got to make some money. And I
be-
truly believe, and like part of my like personal worry, and it's not like a great worry now, but I know as the podcast grows and stuff, is like I want to be able to speak my mind unfiltered. And I know that as this podcast grows, there's gonna be less and less things we can say publicly. Um, and especially the way the world's going right now with the whole like censorship and everything's getting censored and everyone's getting canceled. Jordan Peterson got canceled. Everyone's getting canceled. And and the only way to combat that is to have money. And the only way to combat that is to be financially free because they can't cancel you if you're independent. They can like I don't know if you don't have a boss, they can't cancel away your money.
Bro,
So
I've been hearing the word canceling for the last year. I don't take it very seriously. I thought it was like some internet thing. What is canceling? What is cancel culture? I've heard of
right.
it, but I'm not sure what it is.
Well, it's like what happened, Jordan Peterson, right? The great Jordan Peterson. Well, deplatforming is what it is. I mean, there's a bunch of people who've gotten fired from their jobs or because of like views and stuff like that, especially during the COVID era and stuff. I mean, I don't know if you remember the story of like this guy who was a soccer player, and so he didn't want to get the COVID vaccine, and so his wife got fired from a job or something like that because her husband didn't get the COVID vaccine, and like stories like that keep coming
Really?
around. And
That's
it's
fucked,
like,
man.
and
That
it's
is
like,
so fucked.
yeah, and it's like, you just you have that element of like fear of like, oh, there's something I say, and I guess that's always been the case. That is something you say is gonna get you in trouble and
Of
stuff like
course,
that,
yeah, no,
right?
it's a healthy society. If it gets critiqued, it's okay.
Getting critique is different than just like taking away everything you have and stuff like
No,
that
they're
too.
not supposed to
You
do
know,
that. They can't do that. I don't think.
what do
I
you mean they
mean,
can't?
They can.
Yes, they can, and they have, and they will continue to do stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's like the new Andrew Schultz thing. I don't know if you heard about Andrew Schultz and his new special, and like they cancel him. They're like, you can't do these. These jokes are too awful. And he's not even that bad. Oh my god, man.
Yeah,
Andrew,
but
I
like,
think
I
yeah,
think this is promoting a more independent approach to things because
right.
Andrew basically what he did, he bought it, he bought his special back and then he just posted it himself. And uh I think this just look, in general,
what was the
you
joke he
can't
did?
not
I
it
don't
was a
know.
special, it was like there's multiple jokes. That's not the point. But let me say this point, please. I don't think it has to do with like cancel culture in general, because like anything you do in your life, as you become more successful, as you start to grow, there's always going to be obstacles because that's just fucking life, you know.
Hmm.
There's always going to be different obstacles, and that's in that sphere, in that field, the entertainment field. It's called cancel culture, which is all right, man. Like, okay, you get canceled from this one event or from that one event or that platform. Maybe it's a good thing. Maybe it's better if you don't like present on that platform or go to that event, because the majority of people or a strong minority of people over there are not going to like you and they're going to ruin it for you.
Makes sense, yeah.
So might as well just go to a different platform where you'll get a better reception and
Right. But
go
in
for it.
comedy, I'll tell you exactly. Like, when was the last great comedy movie you guys have seen? I don't know.
Movie.
Yeah, give me an example. I don't know.
So
Literally, if you have
comedy movies in general weren't. The first thing that pops in my mind is Jim Carrey. Jim
all right,
Carrey.
Sausage
Jim Carrey,
Party.
right? Jim Carrey, Seth Rogen, and stuff like that, right? Those were like a decade ago. Jim Carrey was like 2 decades ago,
Yeah.
right? And like this is a new phenomenon that's happening that, especially with comedy, people have uh such a like if one person gets upset, they post a comment somewhere and then they just get angry and the movie gets canceled and Netflix gets scared and stuff like that. And uh I think
Um,
I think that's a good thing for someone like me who wants to do independent comedies because it's like, oh, the competition is much scarcer now, and like people are hungrier for comedy films now more than ever. But it's like it's much harder to do comedy. It's much harder to be a comedian. Uh, it's because they take everything you say so like under such scrutiny. And comedy is all about pushing the button, right? You're trying to find the line. Sometimes you go over the line. Sometimes you go under the line. You're trying to find the
Bro, I
line
think
and write it.
comedy
That's
can't
what great
survive.
comedy is.
Yeah, comedy can't survive if you're gonna be hypersensitive. But no, man. Like on Netflix, you can still watch Bill Burr, and you know Bill Burr, how offensive he is.
Bill Burr's great.
Unabashedly, guy is
That's true.
it's hilarious. I think, man, like I've never been
Bro,
so
Ricky
offended
Gervais
by.
has specials on Netflix, and
Yeah,
they were
like I don't
they're
think.
pretty intense.
I think just the government should like put laws on cancel culture. Like canceling is illegal.
Canceling is illegal.
No, but yeah, no, seriously. Like I feel like what Saeed said has a point. With comedy, I feel like the people that are that sensitive to comedy shouldn't be in the audience anyway, and it's a good. And I don't know. I feel like things like companies like Netflix, they should recognize that these are what they are for what they are is vocal minorities, very vocal minorities that are hypersensitive and just shouldn't be taken that seriously. It's not going to hit their revenue that much.
By the way,
They
Netflix
need-
did recognize that with Dave Chappelle, for example. They let his specials
is true.
air, and there was a lot of there was a strong like the transgender community did not agree with them. Like I think even I don't know if it was if someone who works for Netflix got fired because they were talking about it like publicly, or was it or if they quit, but like something like that happened. I remember.
Dave
Wow.
Chappelle is so funny.
Yeah, exactly. The same thing with Joe Rogan on
yeah.
the same thing with Joe Rogan on Spotify too. It's like, people are trying, I mean, it doesn't work always, right? Because Dave Chappelle and Joe Rogan are beyond that. They make too much money, but like for smaller people and stuff like that, yeah, it's much harder to do in
Okay.
that situation.
I think like something that people could look at it, and like another way they could look at it is maybe this is promoting comedians to like adapt, change their material instead of sticking to the same. Because like
لا, man,
for me,
adapt.
wait, let me say this. Like for me, because like I always think of it from both perspectives. I mean, all topics in general. Like for me, I love comedy as well, and I like watching dark humor and like the stuff that's constantly being shown. But at the same time, I'm always interested in maybe seeing something different. Like seeing a new style of comedy that comes out because of this supposed cancel culture. Obviously, I'm not saying
yes.
no. Wait, let me continue. I'm not saying it's like, oh, it has to be very sensitive. It's like, oh no, okay, I'm sorry if I said this joke and I don't
Knock,
mean to
knock.
offend anyone.
Who's there?
No, I don't mean it like that. It's just it can evolve. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying like the old comedy is bad or anything like that. I'm just saying if it evolves, like you can have both at the same time, coexisting. There's nothing wrong with that.
It's true, but I feel like more and more people are getting brainwashed. Is my worry about the situation. It's like this is the whole great reset is this point is that sometimes they say that they're doing something for a good cause, right? But then it's a Trojan horse, right? It's like, oh, we're doing this. It hurts people. It hurts people to if you make jokes. It hurts their feelings, all right? That's you have to be kind to others, right? But then what are they actually trying to do? They're trying to censor speech, in my opinion. That's my sinister my sinister understanding of it. Like the same thing with COVID, right? Oh, we're just trying to make you safe. It's all about being safe and stuff like that. Who said I want to be safe, man? Safe equals control equals shutting down small businesses.
Oh, I'm not saying saying being safe. I'm just saying it's like
you can everything. The environment, man.
Like people
you have
can
to
make
have the
jokes,
environment.
bro.
Let's not do the environment. The environment has to be so great. Okay, let's take care of the environment, but let's shut down, all these businesses and take control over everyone and make sure people can't drive their gas cars
Whoa,
and stuff
Ali.
like that.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Relax there. We're talking about the environment here. Like,
yes.
Please clarify a bit because it sounds like like you're kind of shitting on climate change right there.
Well, it's no. I mean, obviously, climate change is real and stuff like that. I'm not trying to. I don't want to.
It's real.
Yes, exactly. And we can see it. The UK is the hottest, right? That's ever been right now.
Bro, all of you are facing heat waves. What are you talking about?
Right.
all of you are facing heat waves.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Oh yeah.
is the solution that you shouldn't be allowed to drive gas cars? Is
Why
that
not? Bro, like
because
some of the
what's the
major
alternative?
no,
Yeah.
listen. The major like pollutant companies, private companies, are the ones that manufacture oil for
Mhm.
mainly for cars. They are the like Shell, and I don't. Shell is the first one pops in my mind. I don't know the
By the
others.
way,
I don't know.
Saeed, I think you're wrong. I think the major
Check
pollutants
it.
were in the industrial stuff, not for cars.
What do you mean industrial?
Like oil for
Manufacturing.
industrial manufacturing, yeah.
But
Because
So
last
like
last
basically
time I checked,
the okay, no, good. Explain. Like what kind of products are you talking about?
like refineries or like metal metal machine. I forgot what, but it wasn't cars, bro. I thought cars were
No, not cars. I'm saying oil producing companies. But I said they mainly, but like obviously one of their main products that they supply is oil for cars.
right, and so what's the alternative? Right, they give you the electric cars, right? Why are they giving you electric cars, electric trucks? So that what can happen is like what happened in Canada, where they just shut you down. You saw in Canada like all these truckers and protesters and stuff like that. What did they do?
Ali, it doesn't
They
have to be a shutdown. There can be a switch. The government just has to plan it smartly. They just have to
Right,
be
but
like
that's not
instead
what's
of
gonna happen. They're
well,
not
yeah,
gonna exactly.
that's the issue. Just because the politicians are stupid at it doesn't mean it shouldn't be done.
Well, I don't
Like
think
that,
they're stupid. I
like
think they're more sinister than stupid. I think there's like an agenda and a
I didn't say they're
certain motive
stupid. I
they
said they're
have.
being stupid at it. So basically, their approach
They're
is
being
not
very
smart.
smart at it, actually. I think,
How
and the
is it
way they
being?
control the population and stuff like that. Look at what's
How is
happening in
wait
Canada right
how
now.
how is
This
it
might,
being Ali? How is it being smart if you're shutting down businesses and then that's it? Like I don't
right.
think that's their plan. I don't think their plan is to
smart
shut
for
down
them.
businesses.
That's what
This
you
is
mean.
that's what I mean exactly. So you look in the exact Canada situation, right? You have
Yeah.
the truckers were protesting because they don't want to wear masks while they're in the trucks, right? They're like, I don't want to have to get vaccinated because I drive by myself. What does
Okay.
Justin Trudeau say? He's like, these guys are terrorists, and because of everyone's safety, we're gonna shut down their bank accounts. We're gonna all their electric vehicles. We're just gonna turn them off so they can't drive. They can't go anywhere. And yeah, we're doing it for safety and stuff like that.
This is
Uh,
not. This is not. What's it called? What were you describing this? This
A,
is
a Trojan horse is where they're like
okay.
they're saying that, oh,
For
we're doing this under the guise of, they
bro,
tell you one thing, they tell you that in that situation specifically they're trying to divide people, right? They're like, oh, these people, they're conservatives, and conservatives are bad people. We want to be safe, and if you want to be safe you have to think this certain way.
But who's trying to divide people then?
The government.
Government.
But the government has both conservatives and liberals.
No, bro. The government works for itself, bro.
Yeah, the government works for itself. It doesn't
you
have
guys have to
conservatives or
elaborate.
liberals. It's
No, wait. You
elites
guys do
versus
have to
everyone
elaborate
else.
a bit more when you say government, because the government
Right.
is basically the whole entity, which
Right.
involves the what's it called, the executive, the legislative, and the judicial branches.
Okay.
So
How about
which part are you talking about?
people who have money, pretty much? Is my
That's not the
wait.
Money is a different thing now.
So now
Money can involve the lobbyists and the private companies and the rich 1%.
and they control the government.
that's
Okay, that makes
sense. The government,
Yes.
which is the executive and the
Okay,
legislative.
this is not something that's something else, bro. That's something completely different. Because we were talking about like how the government was like, well, specifically the president was calling the truckers terrorists and shutting down their accounts and stuff like that. That's examples of autocratic regimes, which has been seen happening across a lot of Western countries. Like for example, in the US, it's
The
also
US
happening,
too. Mhm.
and bro, even in the UK, it was happening a bit, but they ended up kicking out the prime minister. So there, there are things that are changing, and I think, man, it's just like it's not an issue about people being manipulated and controlled by the top 1%. That's like the that's like the general thing that the 1% are trying to do. Okay, fine. But if we're talking about like the switch, because we kind of focus one point at a time, because I'm getting really confused trying to talk about this topic. But going to the point about the oil, for example, how? Please explain how is this not like a major pollutant to the and like a major source to climate change?
Yes, it's a major source to climate change, right?
Okay, that's the
Who?
original topic we started on,
Okay.
that we
Yeah,
ended up
So
and then reaching the government.
what's the solution to this? What's the solution to this problem? Is it that
Bro,
we
a
take
gradual
everyone's
shift.
vehicles and make gas more expensive so that people can't
Ali,
drive
that's a very
cars?
You're talking about very drastic changes. I'm saying that we should have a gradual shift towards renewable sources of energy instead of just gas and
Right.
oil.
But what's happening in the world? It's not that's not what's happening. If they really wanted to stop the climate, if they really wanted, they know how to do it. They're not they're not going out of their way to stop all these manufacturing companies and all this big capitalism,
No,
that's happening.
I agree with you.
They're going to the people and the consumers and making their lives harder, and as opposed to actually addressing change that they can make and they can afford to make.
No, I
This is
agree.
the difference, right?
Yeah.
And it's under the guise they say of, oh, we're taking care of the environment. Of course, the environment is a whole thing, right? But it's not like
Saying is that they have ulterior motives, basically.
Yeah, but Ali, also something I wanna add for is the people are the ones who vote for the members in government.
no, they don't.
God, who votes for the parliament?
Sure,
Right.
people. Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
yeah, and who ends up voting for the president? Those people that were voted by the people, right?
Right.
Okay,
Mhm.
so I think if the people would focus a bit more on like on campaigns that involve maybe like that actually talk about climate change and candidates that actually care about the country instead of voting for the same parties all over again, who just promise the same shit. For example, the conservatives like, oh yes, we'll reduce the taxes and we'll give you more money so that you can spend, which in reality has no purchasing power because inflation is going up. So the more money you're making makes no difference because purchasing power is decreasing since inflation is making your money worthless. And then you have the liberals that are increasing your taxes and just taking your money away and ending up not making proper budgeting, proper budget spending. So you have
If
these two parties. Find a fucking new party and vote for that one.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
that's the problem. But that's the
like
problem
even
with
in
the
Lebanon, we're starting to see that change. Why isn't that happening in the US? You're telling me that Lebanon has more democracy than the US?
yes, but it has
What
less
change are you
control than the
talking about?
US. Exactly.
Wait. No. I'm not saying no. I'm talking about gradual change. In Lebanon, there is gradual change. Have you seen the percentage increase of new candidates that are not politically affiliated, not affiliated with political parties? They had the biggest increase,
Okay,
if not the
Saeed,
biggest, the second biggest.
I understand, but what I mean is that
Abbas, this was the first time
we're
we
not
see a
going to see
change.
this change.
How do you know? No. Wait.
These changes.
Okay, if we don't see it, at least it's happening. Isn't that the most important
Obviously,
point?
but that's what like we're talking
Like
about.
I disagree with you that we're not gonna see it in our lifetime.
No,
I
but that's
completely
what I'm
disagree
talking
with you.
about. For example, in relation to climate change, bro.
Yeah.
Like climate change is gonna happen gradually, but how fast it's gonna happen, it depends on the people.
What do you mean it's gonna happen? Climate change?
I mean, fixing climate change is gonna happen, but how fast?
How do you know it's gonna happen if people are not dealing with it?
It is. I mean, they're slowly going into it, bro. Like with all the electric cars and
At the moment, I don't see any signs of it because like electric cars are not gonna save climate change. You need
of course, yeah,
major oil companies to also reduce their
of course, yeah.
CO2 emissions and their all of that. You
Yeah,
have to
bro,
have countries like China and the US to have stronger restrictions on their CO2 emissions.
I agree
Because-
about the China and the US because they are one of the world's biggest producers of that emissions because factories and stuff. However, you see it in the news sometimes, like in Europe and Canada, a lot of renewable energy milestones. Like
Sherif, you do know that Canada is like the top 5 CO2 emissions countries in the world. Like they produce one of the most emissions in the CO2 emissions in the world.
No, I know, but I read in the news about developments and like a hydroelectric dam or something like that every now and then. It's mostly in Europe that I read it, but yeah, like you see it on the news sometimes. Like there is an effort, but maybe it's not enough. Yeah,
Too minute, bro.
You can't, but you can't put the sake of the planet on Europe's back.
No, of course.
It doesn't it's not gonna happen, bro. You have like continents fighting against and it's not all of Europe, by the way. We say Europe, but in reality we're talking about like Germany and maybe the Netherlands and maybe Belgium or some shit like that.
Yeah,
But
Czech Republic.
that's about it. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think Czech Republic has those major industries that where they can produce as much as as much CO2 emissions as like the UK, for example.
My point with the whole climate thing is that they try to distract us with all these different kinds of topics they have, and they're not like the actual topics that do matter to us are like the economic thing that we're talking about now. And why is that the rich getting richer and the poor getting poorer in this modern day world, right? And you know what happens when a lot of us are broke? We just get more angry, we get more anxious, we get stupider. Your IQ actually gets lower when you're broke. It's like you get stressed out and people react in different ways and they fight with each other. Why you know, like what is they talk about racism, they talk about the environment, all these things are the things that we're talking about and arguing conservative, liberal, that's what the topics are, transgenderism. Who cares, man? Honestly, it's like the actual real thing that I'm worried about is that you know, is everyone just going to become poor and broke and angry? You know,
well, yeah, continue.
That's my actual worry, and it's happening, and it's happening on the day to day, and no one's doing anything about it. And
Ali, it's a fair point.
And when people come with solutions, they come and they shut them down.
Yeah.
And this is why it's like maybe in a country like Lebanon, maybe there's more hope than a country like the US, maybe, because here they have way too much control in the US. It's like there's the two-party system, but they're basically the same party. They just want the rich to get richer and the poor to get poorer, and they have these fake arguments to make people distracted and stuff like that. And so I'm just trying to say that where we have to really think about like these topics and focus on these topics because man, it's so wrong, dude. It's like for my young cousin right now is trying to make money and get into the world and stuff like that. How is he gonna do it? How is he gonna succeed? I don't know, man. It takes a lot in order to be good with money.
Where
it's
is
hard
your
to be
young
good with
cousin?
money.
Which country?
He's in New Jersey right now. My young cousin, they're hello there. He's a big helper of the podcast and stuff like that. And
nice.
Yeah, it's
yeah, bro.
There's
I definitely
few
relate
avenues,
what you're
man.
saying. Yeah, bro. Like actually, I saw there was a conference in my job like 2 months ago about like the state of Canada. Basically, like many first world countries, especially North America, Canada, 82% of Canadians live check to check, paycheck to paycheck. 82%. 94 are in debt. And yeah, those are two striking statistics from that conference that like blew my mind.
Yeah, that's so ridiculous.
You guys are making fair points. No, I completely agree with this. Like it is an issue. I'm not saying it's not.
And the whole
but Ali, it's a reversible issue. That's the thing. Climate change, it will reach a point where it's not reversible. That's what I'm trying to say. Because like with the wealth gap, you know, between the rich and the poor, this has always been the case.
Right,
and
it's always now.
Yeah, but it's not different than before because you've had. It's not, Ali.
AI.
If you look back, if you look about at history, you will find like go back
the French Revolution.
Go back to the 1800s. Look at the French Revolution. Look at the Russian Revolution. There's always a case where there's a lot rich people, and they're just getting richer,
right?
And then eventually people like overthrow them.
But had AI.
Eventually balances out. You know, people find a way to balance it out. Right, yes, you go through a rough time, of course. That's how it is. That's how life ends up being. You know.
And I'm trying to say, I'm not trying to yell because my family's here and stuff like that. So I'm trying to stay calm and collected.
I'm sorry, I'm
but dude, the world with artificial intelligence, right? This is not the French Revolution, man. It's not a time where you can just like be like, oh, we can just overthrow the government. You can't do that. Why? Because they have spies, they have cameras everywhere.
Ali, but okay, now you're going into let's I'm the one who has ADHD. Why are you jumping into so many different tangents?
No, it's the same tangent.
No, you're adding AI into the. AI is a whole different.
You said topic. What's different from now in the past? It is this element. Is that now more than ever, it's much easier to control.
Bro, over time there
population.
was, but that's the thing. There was always someone who was thinking like you, was like, oh, they have, they have a new technology that we can't counter. Back then it was like introduction of guns, or
yeah,
like,
I
or
think
before
Saeed's
that
right.
it was,
Humans are very resourceful. Yes.
we always find a way to make it work, like to balance out. That's how the nature of humans
Put
just
tape over
is.
the webcam camera of your laptop.
So
Like,
you think that yesterday I mean, I've been watching a bunch of genocide movies, to be honest. So this is why I'm kind of
okay,
pessimistic
yeah,
nowadays.
you're
Yeah,
on edge,
exactly.
but Ali, genocides have been occurring since like the Neanderthals were alive. It's
Right,
like
exactly.
when you take out the whole fucking tribe, so that they can steal their resources. That's a fucking genocide as well.
Right, but you wouldn't think in yeah, these days, in modern times, you wouldn't have that, but yet it's
No,
happening all the time, and it's
it's
like,
humans
I
how?
think
apparently
that, man,
don't.
there was a conspiracy theory about the vaccines being a way to cull the population. Like they're vaccinating everybody to kill them. Bro, I'm so grateful I took the vaccine. Otherwise, I'd be dying right now. Like my COVID, it lasted 3 days, super hard, difficult. But then, like some people, they're like weeks and months. They never took the vaccine. They're suffering like crazy. They have symptoms of long COVID. Like all these conspiracy theories. The more time passes, the more I'm like, oh wait, that wasn't true. I'm glad I listened to the government. I'm glad I took the vaccine. I'm
Sharif, this
glad.
is what Ali is talking about. Ali is saying like they're giving us like random topics that like doesn't matter, bro. Like what the hell is COVID like right now? What the hell is the vaccine, bro? Like the
No,
vaccine,
I'm talking
Wait,
about
but
like trusting the government. I'm just
but
saying
that
that the
conversation
idea of
died though.
conspiracies. I'm
huh?
talking about the idea of conspiracies. It's just like
Yeah.
Then you have
show
Epstein Island, man. Yeah, then you have Epstein Island. Exactly. Let's go on
that's not a
vacation
conspiracy.
there.
That has sufficient evidence.
Okay, but that got shut down, no?
It was a conspiracy theory for years and years and years. It was a
Yes,
conspiracy theory until it was real.
but things don't have to be true until proven otherwise. Some things like logically, like yeah, like is it impossible that there's a ring of child molesters in the elite and the rich people? No, it's not. Is it impossible that they want to cull the population? Pretty out there.
Possible.
Possible, possible. If it's
But Ali,
possible,
why do you
it
think
happen.
they want to cull the population now?
Because
Like,
they don't
what
care.
benefit? What benefit would they get?
I
Because
think that they don't have the human element. They don't have
Ali,
the.
if you think about it, if they do the culling, who the fuck is gonna do the chores that they want to be
The
done?
Yeah,
people
bro.
they control,
Who's
man.
who's
So
gonna
much of
run their
society
business?
dependent on the hard work and labor of the lower class.
Who's
and
gonna
middle
run
class.
their businesses? Who's gonna build their fucking pyramids of Giza? Who's gonna do all that shit? Who?
Good point, man. Yeah, like Bill Gates isn't gonna go down, put us like construction hat on, and like it's impossible to imagine. Like they need like the foundation of society is built on the lower working class and the farmers and agriculture and like the basic labor. So
Um,
who would they kill out? Who would they kill?
hey, mom, do I have autism?
Yes.
Do you think I have autism?
Yes, you do, bro. You're probably
He
definitely on the
says I
spectrum.
don't have him. Okay. My point being, man.
Wait, is your
Here's
mom licensed to give you that answer?
Here's the question, man.
I just need to confirm.
All right, here's the question. If you're is it easier to have a population that's easily controlled, or is it easier to have a population that's not controlled? Right? I know this is a behavioral psychologist, dude. You want to be able to control the population because you get them to do whatever you want them to do. How do you
Who said
control
you're
them?
not doing it already?
They are doing it, but they're doing it more so and more so as time passes.
Is your mom saying?
My mom says it's good to control the society. Maybe in Lebanon it's good to control. I don't know. It depends on who's in control, right? Exactly.
It does depend on who's in control. That's a good. Yeah. That's
I
a
don't
good
know.
point.
Well, I mean, if you educate people, you make them smarter, and then they can control themselves and they can be individualistic.
Ali, you make a good point about like the people who are trying to control the population are losing like the human element and in their decisions. But I think to control the general population, you have to kind of like ignore that part of you that's human, like in certain situations, if you want to control the people.
Akid, you can't have empathy if you want to take the ruthless, hard decisions that might benefit the greater good, in their opinion, whatever the greater good is. The Earth has a carrying capacity of 11 billion human beings. We're almost at 8. 3 billion more. It's like we can't actually sustain more than that. You know, we're gonna have to colonize other planets and shit. It's like
that's if we reach 11 billion before
Yeah, I don't
climate
think
change
we're
starts
gonna.
wiping out people.
Yeah, exactly. Our population's going down too. But in terms
actually, yeah,
of
bro. Like several
yeah,
countries have a declining population, like South Korea. People aren't banging over there. They're just yeah, bro. Japan.
I'm gonna clip that, dude. I love that.
They're
So
not
good.
banging. They're not
Oh
banging.
my God, Sherif. No, it's so
People
true.
like
By the way,
people
it's not
entering
only in South
marriages.
Korea. Yeah, there's a lot of also like even in some European countries,
Yeah,
they have a decreasing population. Like the growth rate is decreasing, and because people are like not getting more than 2 kids or
that's
like
why we
3
have,
kids
bro.
maximum.
We have the homies in Lebanon and Baalbek compensating, bro. 13
Oh,
kids.
bro, this like how much is it? Is like 10,442 meters squared, a kilometer squared piece of land is now compensating for all of Europe's lack of population.
Yeah, it is
Lebanese
weird.
wombs, bro. They're factories, man. Okay.
I mean, it's interesting to see how COVID. I do have ops. It's interesting to see how COVID around the world played out. Like I went to Lebanon, visited Lebanon during COVID, and no one cared, man. No one was wearing a mask. Really, no one cared. They pretended it didn't exist and stuff like that. Versus here in America, they mostly cared. Versus, but like you can get away with stuff. Versus China, if you step outside without a mask, the drone comes here and they shoot you in the head. That's it.
Ali,
Exactly.
question. In the US, you said they mostly care, but do they mostly care because they're forced to, or do they actually care?
Good point. I think it's a mix of both. In Canada, it was a mix of both for sure. Like people care, a lot of people out of fear, but a lot of people that did it, they obviously try to find as many loopholes and hacks as possible, avoid it as much as they can. I think the more educated the population is, the less you're going to see that. I feel like America is definitely not in that category. Like you saw in the middle of COVID, there was beach parties in Miami in July, in summer of 2020 and 2021. There was literally
Don't
beach
Florida.
parties in the middle of COVID. But it's disgusting. It's like and that was exactly opposite to Canada. Actually,
Right.
Canada was a lot more like censored and safer and like
See,
restricted.
if it happens 10 years from now, let's say COVID happens 10 years from now, and the technology's only gotten a lot better, right? See, I think the reason some people were breaking the rules and bending the rules and finding loopholes is that they could, right? Like you can, if someone's telling you to put a mask on, you can debate with him. You can say, "Hey, I have asthma" or something like that, or something. And some people don't care and stuff like that, or don't care enough. But when you
I
have a
see.
robot
I see
that's
where this is
scanning,
going.
if
Yeah.
you have a robot that's scanning you, there is no human element to it. There is no, oh, maybe there's no rationality. There's no like, oh, it's a special occasion. It's just for a picture or something. He has his mask off or something. No, mask on, alive. Mask off, dead. You know what I mean?
Okay, that's
This
a
is
bit drastic, man. I don't think the government will implement in fucking RoboCops to shoot
China.
on sight if you're not wearing a mask. You know?
I mean, you saw China? I mean,
It's
we did
like,
an episode where we saw the videos of the drones traveling around and making
yeah,
sure
okay.
that everyone is
China is
wearing
a
a
different
mask and stuff.
situation. They're basically a dictatorship over there. The US is not.
China's like one episode away from the Hunger Games, bro.
But Ali, also don't forget, like most of the sources that we do see from China they're very like they're small they're small samples. China is a massive country with a massive population. We usually get like 1 or 2 or 3 videos showing us these things.
No, bro, but there was one horrifying clip, really horrifying clip, like 3 months ago, with like there was a massive complex of skyscrapers, residential, and the people take videos from all over the buildings, like from several balconies all across,
Sherif,
and you could hear screams
I
because
remember.
it was a restricted.
I remember.
It was a forced quarantine, stay at home, like house arrest for like the entire part of the city. Yeah, and they couldn't even get food.
Sherif, I remember. I watched that
played it
clip.
on the
Yeah, we
podcast.
played it on the podcast. But I'm not trying to defend China. I'm just being neutral here. Like, sorry, devil's advocate. All the news sources that we get from China are usually the negative ones. We don't get anything good from them. So our idea of China is always going to be bad. Because we've never been to China. We don't know what's happening in China. We only get these clips from, I have no idea where the sources are from either. And we just is like, okay, this is how we'll depict all of China just by like 2 or 3 videos.
Propaganda is happening in China.
Dude, I don't think
China.
the screaming people do. That was not fake. That was totally real.
I'm not saying it's fake,
That was the whole
Ali.
thing.
I'm not saying it's fake. But what I'm saying is we only get bad news. Like, and it's like 1 or 2 or 3 videos. It's not like we get the whole picture, you know? Because like, if you really want to,
they kill journalists. That's why. Also, so you
Ali,
can't
if
really
you want to talk about killing journalists, go to fucking Palestine. Israeli army are killing journalists over there.
That is true.
In the US, it can happen. The journalists disappear. It can happen in any country. So I don't think it's fair to just say it's like, oh, China's just, this crazy ass. They have, yeah, definitely, they're doing terrible.
The technology is the aspect of it that we were talking about. That they have a superior technology where they can have drones going around saying, "Express your soul's desire for freedom."
The US has that. Canada definitely has drones. A lot of different countries have drones, man. That can do the same thing. It's just that they don't use it
yet. Exactly.
Exactly. Yet.
We gotta wrap up soon, guys. What am I gonna say? Do we even find a solution for Sherif? I mean, that was the whole point of this topic, right? So we can. He was like, I need to leave Canada and stuff like that to find a place that he can.
Bro, learn proper Spanish, like fluent Spanish. Move to Mexico. Just like.
Have you thought about that?
I have. It's just that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know why I wouldn't. Honestly, it's not a bad idea to move to like a Mexico. It's not
to move to a Mexico, one of them.
But Sherif,
like,
what countries are you planning to go other than Canada?
There's Europe, maybe an Arab country. I don't know, man. It's so expensive here. Like, it's fucking. I wanted to say something really briefly about the. Obviously, like Saeed mentioned the graph I talked about again. It's true statistically, yeah, but like, it's impossible to foresee any possible way for the wages and salaries to ever get anywhere close to being able to afford a house. You can be able to afford a house in Vancouver especially. You need to shoot $100 an hour. Like, you need that much money. Like, you need to make that much money at least. But it's not something feasible. What has to happen is housing costs have to go down, and that's why 3 months ago the Trudeau administration, they imposed a 2 or 3 year ban, which was great news across Canada. 2 or 3 year ban, especially Vancouver, on foreign buying of land, which is mostly Chinese and Indians are guilty of that, because that's a big part of the population in British Columbia, Vancouver, is people who are here, like Indians and Chinese, and their families back home and people back home, they won't buy the land, and they avoid the taxes, and it's like not taxed enough, and they cause the whole housing economy to get exorbitantly expensive. They placed a ban on foreign buying of land for the next 3 years. Hopefully, it allows us to stabilize somewhat, which is a good thing. Of course, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to buy a house in the next 3 years anyway, but hopefully they do something more permanently in the future towards that.
Right, but how about you as a person? Like, what can you do? I mean, I know the government can try to do stuff, but
what I can do, I can build a lot of capital, save a lot of money, move somewhere else.
A house costs $1 million, pretty much. That's the average cost of the house.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, 100%. There's nothing, bro. Even the farthest place from the city in Vancouver, fucking Abbotsford, $1.5 million. What the fuck is that?
If only there was a way you could live in a third world country that's relatively functioning, but work with in a first world country job.
You can. Remote jobs are possible. Like, for example, my sister Nelly works for a company in New York. I don't know if I told you, Abbas. Yeah, I do. Yeah, she told you. The one you met. Yeah, she works for a perfume company in New York. I mean, remote jobs are fine. That's actually the future. That's how you can have those people living in South Africa among the tribes and they work some type of like remove I don't know
Man
software
just
job or
shat on
something.
all of South Africa,
If it's
calling them
possible, yeah, it's the
tribes,
future.
bro. It's as if it's not like a country that's like actually functioning over there. It's like has like a modern
Semi-functioning.
country. Yeah,
Yeah,
they have their
exactly.
problems, but so does everyone else.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, with that said,
Adios, man. This is the end of the podcast. Maybe we'll have to do another part later. Sherif, you need to update us on the next time. All right, guys.
Thank you guys.
Nice
this was
one.
the #1 most international, most diverse, most blonde hair podcast.
Most New
Everyone,
York.
all of you should dye your hair now. Like literally, just follow suit, and we'll all do it for like one episode. Do you want to cut or not?